do you see when you look at me? Imagine you've never met me before, some of you haven't, and you see me crossing the street. What is the first thought that crosses your mind? Let me help you. Would you think I was a Chinese person? No. How about Dutch? No. Maybe not. You'll probably assume that I was from Pakistan, Suriname, or India. Right? You can relax. I'm not here to stereotype you. I'm here because these are the questions I have for myself when I look into the mirror. What do I see when I look at myself? If someone came up to me and said, hey, so, where do you come from? Do I tell that person that I'm from India because I was born there, because my family comes from there, my traditions and so on is Indian? Or should I rather tell them that I'm from Saudi Arabia because I spent 15 years growing up in Saudi Arabia. I learned my values, my biases, my opinions, and that's how I see the outside world, from what I've learned there. Or should I just tell you that I'm from the Netherlands because I've been living here for 5 years anyway. I'm trying to learn Dutch, I'm trying to integrate, and if we all went out to drink, I would be happy to go Dutch when we have to pay the bill. Jokes apart, what do I tell you if you ask me that question? This made me look into other sources where I can find some inspiration in the religion, in the philosophy, and that's when I came to the ship of Theseus. Now the ship of Theseus is of course the ship of Theseus, a great Greek hero who went out to do great deeds for his people. So what the people thought was, let's keep a ship so that others can see and remember what he did for them. But as time passed by, the ship began to rot and break down. So people took that out, threw it away, and took other pieces of wood and replaced it. So much so that there was one point in time where the complete ship was replaced. The question now is that still the ship of Theseus? Or if I took all the rotten pieces thrown away and built a ship, would that become the ship of Theseus? Was that me, or was the one in Saudi Arabia me, or the one who's standing in front of you me? I ask you this because it's completely different, all these phases of my life. If you met me when I was in school and asked me, hey, so what kind of music do you listen to? What I would respond was probably like, music? Music is just a waste of time. You could be playing, you could be doing sports, you could be watching movies or podcasts or read a book. Music was a waste of time. Because that is what I believed, that is what my values at that point were. But now, if you ask me, so, what kind of music do you listen to? You would be in for a treat. Thanks to Spotify, I try to discover new albums every 2 weeks, try to listen to different bands, different genres of music. I'm also thinking about dedicating my PhD thesis to Spotify, because that helps me get in the flow and shut out all the background noise, also the internal noise, and let me do my research. A lot of difference. Also, if you met me back then, we all went to school together. And we dropped my mother at the girls' school because she worked there. And yes, we had a boys' school and a girls' school. When my mom left the car and said, bye, Fan, see you later in the evening, I would be like, bye, Mom, see you later in the evening. I would not raise my head to look at my mom because I knew that if I did, I would by chance look at the other women also getting into school, all these girls getting into school. Because at that point I thought it was indecent to look at other women who you were not supposed to, and that is what I believed in back then. But now, don't worry, I did not turn out to be a thief or a stalker. I'm just married to my wife, who I've gone out with 7 years before we decided that it was the right thing to do. That was not something that person would have imagined I would end up doing. And also on top of that, she's from a completely different cultural background than what I am. So ladies and gentlemen, which of these do I trust If I ask my friends back home or my relatives, they'll probably tell me that this guy just is adopting the best and is forgetting all his values, so it's not the right thing to do. If I ask some of my friends here, or maybe even one of you, probably assume that I've become more liberal and more open to different options. But which of these two do I take as I go forward? I don't know. But that's when I realize that as I keep moving from place to place, I keep changing my ship, that changes over time, as long as I have a moral compass that I can trust in, something that gives me heading, something that I can rely on, I will be satisfied where I go. And for me, that was curiosity. So asking the question, why? At every point of time, I believe that I had asked the question why, and it has only grown stronger over time. So ladies and gentlemen, born in India, grown up in Saudi Arabia, and now in the Netherlands here in front of you, having completely different opinions about music or women, I believe that my moral compass has remained the same. So what about you? What is that moral compass that drives you? What is that thing that, even though you would go through different phases in your life, even though you would be different ships at any point of time, what is that one thing that you can rely on? The one thing that drives you? And that is your moral compass. Now I urge you, like I did, go find it. Ladies and gentlemen, before I leave, I have one last question to ask you. What do you see when you look at yourself? Thank you.